Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're continuing Hachzeg's learning of the Pele Yoetz, day 32, and a beautiful one-day chapter called Zmiros. Literally means songs, but it's talking about Pesukei de Zimra, those special psukim and tefillas that we say in the morning in Shacharis, just to understand how important it is. We'll see from here to come to shul on time, take your davening seriously, so you can actually say all of Pesukei de Zimra at once. How praiseworthy is the saying of these Zmiros, the Pesukei de Zimra, every day. And the foundation is very, very lofty, and it reaches up into the heavens. Be very concerted over here and strong in the saying of the Zmiros of the Pesukei de Zimra, and it will cut out all of the physical klipos, as we've spoken about so many times in the Pele Yoetz. There's these klipos, these very negative forces that act as like coverings in this world. They're like the shells that cover the kedusha. And when we start to daven, everybody knows in the morning there's a lot of things that are covering our kedusha. In our davening, there's the grogginess and the tiredness in our mind. Who knows what we watched last night? Who knows how much we're on our phone this morning? Who knows what kind of mood we're in? Who knows? Only HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you know. And therefore, there's a lot of klipos. There's a lot of shells. There's a lot of barriers that we have between us and the Rebbeinu Shalom when it comes to our prayers. But when you say Pesukei de Zimra in the right way, it begins to cut them all away, so that when you come to Kriya Shema and you come to Shemona Esrei, so then you're just davik in the Rebbeinu Shalom. And someone who comes late to shul, he comes so late that he has to skip over Pesukei de Zimra. He loses so much good. And especially those who end up learning other stuff instead of saying over the Pesukei de Zimra. Tehillim, and my mother is a Kedema, they're learning Tehillim. It's a nice thing to learn Tehillim. Or my mother is a Kedema, other Pesukim and the like in davening, maybe even in Torah. It's nice, you should be learning. But not at the time you're saying Pesukei de Zimra. This is an opportunity you have once a day to sing this Zmiros to the Rebbeinu Shalom and cut out all the klipos that you have in your life. Or they sit in the shuls of Amaratzim, of the ignorant people, but Azoras, Beis HaKnesset, they sit even in the courtyards. They never make it inside shul. They're sitting in the coffee room. They're in the driveway. They're in the parking lot. Marabim Sicho Medalgim Bizmiros. They get out of their car and they say, "Hey, Uncle, how you doing? How's it going? Business, this, that, the kids are..." And the next thing you know, they walk in. The Shachar starts at 7 o'clock. They walk in at 7:20. We're late. Okay, quick. And then so you can daven Shemona Esrei together with everybody. Says the Pele Yoetz, be careful where you hang out. Be careful of the shuls, and don't get stuck in the parking lot or in the coffee room or in the hallway. As you're on your way in and start schmoozing away with somebody, you'll miss all of Pesukei de Zimra. And it's so valuable. Woe is to them for the disgrace that they give to Pesukei de Zimra. They are like people that exchange pearls for pennies, for little coins. Or they're exchanging pearls for shards of pottery that are broken. You have pearls. Every single word of Pesukei de Zimra is a pearl. It's a gem. You trade it in for a wasted conversation. You're learning something else right now. You come late to shul because you're busy. No, says the Pele Yoetz, there's a time to daven and make sure you're there. Even to learn at the time that you should be saying Pesukei de Zimra, not appropriate, says the Pele Yoetz. Everything has its time and its place. There's learning and there's davening. They say about Chaim Kanievsky, and I heard there's some people that were there with him, as big as he was in learning, his mind was absorbed in Shas and everything. Kol Torah Kula, when it came to davening, he was there as a servant of the Rebbeinu Shalom, just to daven to Hashem. He stood with his finger always on the place, and by Chazaras Hashatz, even by the repetition of the Shemona Esrei, he didn't look in other Sfarim. He was there going word for word together with the Chazan. He didn't want to miss a single word of tefillah because he said, learning is learning and davening is davening. And that's the Pele Yoetz is saying over here, Pesukei de Zimra, such a chashav, a precious time in the morning that you can be mezamar, you can sing these praises to the Rebbe, and you miss out on that because you were learning, because you were schmoozing, because you were drinking coffee, you're making another cup of coffee, you were coming late, you were waking up late, you were on your phone, you had to see the news before you came in, so I have to know what to daven for. What's going on in Iran today? I have to know what to daven for. No, don't. Just come to shul and put your mind and your lips into Pesukei de Zimra. And it's also not a good custom that he says you can find in certain places. Sometimes they stop in the middle of Pesukei de Zimra. Why? They want to wait for the chassan to arrive. It's the day of his marriage, or it's the day of Sheva Brachas. It's a big cover to have in the minyan, so they stop in the middle of Pesukei de Zimra and they wait for them to come. Maybe the sandek who's going to hold the baby during the bris, or the father of the child, they're running late to shul. Let's wait for them. No, says the Pele Yoetz, they abandon the honor of the Rebbeinu Shalom for the honor of a human being. Why would you do that? And if it's hard for you to break this custom that you have in your shul, you always wait for the father of the bris to come, or you wait for the sandek, or you wait for the chassan. Let me convince you, says the Pele Yoetz. Because if you were standing in front of a king, a human being of flesh and blood, you are standing in front of him, and you are serving him, and you are singing the praises to the king himself. You would never stop in the middle of all his praises. Say, oh, hey, Shalom Aleichem, Yankel, how are you doing over there? Come meet the king. Certainly you wouldn't do such a thing. Because the honor to the king is great. It's not fitting that in the middle of your praising of the king, while you're serving him, you are going to end up giving honor to somebody else. You wouldn't do such a thing. That would be a disgrace to the king. If that's the way that it is for a human king in this world, for the honor of the king of the universe, the Rebbeinu Shalom, when you're saying Pesukei de Zimra, that's great honor. All the more so, you wouldn't stop in the middle, wait for someone to come in, make sure, hey, come. You would never do such a thing. V'kol shekein, all the more so, sheminchilas azmiros atzeva tefillah, from the beginning of davening until the end of the prayers. Ha'koilu kesha am means everything in these strong connections in the prayers. You got to keep going straight. We don't talk. We don't walk away. We don't do other things. We're busy davening. We don't go on our phones. That's one of the reasons. Don't bring your phone into shul. You're going to bring your phone and leave it on the table. People leave it on the table. Okay, I turned it off, so it won't ring. Yeah, but the face is looking at you, so every time that it does ring, and every time you do get a ping, every time you do get another message, and another WhatsApp, and another email, and another Instagram, and another this, and another that, it takes you away from your davening. That's such a bizoyin, such a disgrace and disrespectful to the Rebbe, the King of all kings. HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you're talking to him. You don't do these things. But it's certainly to pick up your phone and start doing this in the middle of davening, chas v'sholem. When you are davening strong, and it's all connected as one, you are building aliyosav, you're building lofty places in Shemayim. And therefore it's not fitting to stop in the middle. When you're building one level of that, don't stop. Just keep going. Therefore, if you could be one of the people that's mevatel, that nullifies such this bad minhag, says the Pele Yoetz, that they stop and they wait for other people to come to shul who are considered prominent for the sake of saying that they should be there for Pesukei de Zimra, and you stopped talking to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, if you could nullify that minhag, Yoyer Kitzarayim, you should know you will shine like the sun in its brightness. You have a tremendous amount of Kedusha and Siyata D'Shemai and Atzlacha as a result of that. Take Pesukei de Zimra seriously. I will leave you with one story that, if you recall, maybe almost 10 years ago, the Har Nof massacre that took place, where the tzaddikim were davening early in the morning in Har Nof, and Arabs came in and they killed 4, and the 5th one ended up succumbing to his wounds much later. And there were people that were killed and injured, and there were people, Baruch Hashem, that survived, and there were people that had miracles. They were supposed to be in that shul that day, and they were not in that shul. One of the miracle stories was, there was a man that davened there all of the time. But sometimes he was running late. Sometimes he was. And he was running late, and he came to the great Paisek of Azriel Auerbach, the son of Shlomo Zalman, and he asked him, he said, when I'm running late, I sometimes have to miss out on a lot of Pesukei de Zimra. But I daven with my regular minyan, and my whole day flows after that, because I have a charusa right afterwards, and then I get home, and I get the kids off to school, and I go to the kollel. If I miss that minyan, everything, my whole day is changed. I end up missing my chavusa, and I come home late, and I get the kids off late, and my whole day, I get to kollel late. Everything is gone. What do? Do I skip Pesukei de Zimra so that my day should run smoothly, or do I go to the later minyan in another shul, which is just right down the street, in order to be able to say Pesukei de Zimra? And Rabbi Azriel Auerbach said, a Yid is not going to say Pesukei de Zimra? Like the Pele Yoetz over here. A Yid will not say Pesukei de Zimra? You know what you have? Break down the klipos, everything. How could you not? So he told him, you're better off. If you're running late and you're going to miss Pesukei de Zimra, go down the street and daven another minyan. Even though it'll stress you out for the beginning of the day, it's okay. Say Pesukei de Zimra. On the morning of the Har Nof massacre, this Yid was coming to shul, and he was running late that day. And he came up the stairs leading up to the front door of the shul, and his hand was on the door already. And he looked at his watch, and he realized, ooh, he's so late, he's going to miss most of Pesukei de Zimra. And he heard the words of Rabbi Azriel Auerbach in his head, a Yid who doesn't say Pesukei de Zimra? And he took his hand off the door, and he left the shul, and he went down the street, and he davened at the later minyan. And he only heard afterwards the massacre that took place in that shul. Pesukei de Zimra, who besides the praises and the klipos, could pashut save your life. May we be zeicher to get a lot out of our Pesukei de Zimra and our davening and our connection with Hashem, and may it bring us to a new level of dveikis in tefillah, in avodah, and our neshama connecting to the Rebbeinu Shalom. All the best.